Hello everybody, this is Mariam Fenoz, and I really enjoyed studying the environmental agents this semester. Now I know a lot about the environmental agents, and I focus in my project about the license renewal of nuclear plants, North Ann Power Station, which is located in Spotsylvania, Virginia. That is how it looks like, the facility. As you see, it's a very nice facility. And I had to conduct two interviews. First one was regulatory agents, and the second one was enforcement agent. Miss Joy Gillespie worked for NEPA, National Environmental Policy Act, and Mr. Tam Tran, he's the head of Nuclear Regulatory Commission. And I found more about the license, different kind of license. So the first license, when they apply for it, it takes 40 years, which will expire in 2038. Second one to expire takes another 20 years, which will expire 2058. Also, they have a different kind of license. It's called amendment license, which is when they applied a new technology. So this is the topic I'm going to focus about today. We're going to start with environmental impact, pros and cons. As we see the facility, see the picture, it looks nice, very nice facility. So because they protect the land and leave the land undisturbance, Dominion Power continue to follow the guideline to avoid any degradation, and they use a new technology to improve the waste management system. Also, they use an alternative that they produce source of energy, which is about 13% just in 2019 from Virginia electricity need. The cons, it is environmental hazard, chemical, biological, and occupational hazard. Climate change due to temperature, change of temperature, radioactive waste add stress to the water, which is gonna see how this is gonna affect in our health. Protect the land will protect other habitats such as bats. Clean energy source with a fewer effect as a small comparing to other source of energy like coal. Radiation doses would be within regulatory limit. The cons, as I mentioned about the water, so it's consumption of contaminated water or locally affected foods. The fish can cause diarrhea, stomach cramp, pain, vomiting. Climate change affect other health through the storm and heat and drought. We see how, and we know how bad this affect us. There are radiological contamination in the fish water, milk, and food product near North Ann units. Now I'm going to move to the EPA recommendation. They give a recommendation about that because of the climate change, because of water and environmental justice. And we're going to start first with the greenhouse emission. They include details about the greenhouse. Reduction goals include way to avoid reduce the emission. EPA recommended consideration of a state and regional goal as well. The recommendation about the aquatic resources, they recommend to install cooling water system for the fish to minimize the facility impact in aquatic community. The rules of the NRC, Nuclear Regulatory Commission, which is, as I mentioned, this is the part of enforcement. So that's according to Mr. Tran. They avoid occupation hazard. For example, the inspector, they make sure the employee wears the radiation protective gear. In addition, they document non-compliance in case of any violation. NRC inspectors also can suspend the license in case of any violation. Next, the monitoring. They really try to monitor everything because they cover too many areas. For example, they have a sample, monitoring the temperature. Also, they have data reported annually. They make sure they release those within the EPA dose standard. They have a lot of achievement, both agents actually. They have been no groundwater spill in the site within the last 5 years. It's one of the greatest achievement. Also, they do their best about the for environmental justice for minority and low-income population, and they really encourage the NACR to have a community outreach for public engagement and participation. Also, they have a Dominion Power continue to maintain the site, as we mentioned before. The conclusion, the environmental agents really did a great job I am so impressed with all these areas covered. The new technology, they really did a great job for us to protect us and protect the environment. So we really have a whole team behind the scene. They do their best. Thank you and good luck with the class.